teacher talking sports, what does would do how we live. And when you look at the all-time rushing records, the name atop many of the lists is the great Emmitt Smith, the all-time leader in rushing yards, 18,355, and rushing touchdowns, 164. Of course, he did much of his damage with the Dallas Cowboys, where he spent 13 seasons before playing his final 2 seasons with the Arizona Cardinals, with Dallas, won 3 Super Bowls, was named a regular season MVP, a Super Bowl MVP, and no one batted an eye when the team was called America's team then. Of course, since Emmitt Smith has not been a member of the Cowboys, they haven't had any success, at least when it comes to either making or winning the Super Bowl. Now they've had 3 straight 12-5 seasons, so have been one of the better regular season teams, but over those 3 seasons, one playoff win total to show for that 36-15 regular season record. Now, a lot of people thought Mike McCarthy wouldn't be able to survive his head coaching job after that poor performance by Dallas in their postseason loss to the Green Bay Packers. Emmitt Smith joined PFT Live, Mike Florio, and Chris Sims, and discussed Mike McCarthy and a couple other things. So, this via PFT's Mike Florio. Emmitt Smith blasts the Cowboys. Goes on to say, started with a simple question. Were you surprised owner Jerry Jones didn't fire head coach Mike McCarthy after a 48-32 home playoff loss to the Packers? I was completely surprised, Emmett said. I know how disappointed I was as a player to see that product put on the football field. It's not becoming of the Dallas Cowboys mystique. Respect the brand. It's not the appropriate representation of the brand itself. Now, Jerry understands these kind of words. The brand, right? The star. Everything has to be pristine, but that was not that. That right there was so disappointing, not only to me, but to many of our fans, including people that was like, what is that? It wasn't a good look. So apparently, Mike Florio has a theory that Jerry Jones is all talk, saying that he wants to win another Super Bowl to keep the fans happy, but that he's not. His actions aren't showing that he is. So when he brought that up to Emmitt, Emmitt had to say, you lose credibility, and if you're losing credibility, you're losing respect. You lose respect, you have no honor. At the end of the day, I agree to some level. Things have to change. I thought the reason why I was so convinced that McCarthy was going to get fired, because last year there was a whole lot of talk about, okay, this might be it. If he doesn't perform this year, okay. You're going to accept 12 wins in the playoff berth, but you're going to accept the way we got kicked out of the playoffs. I mean, dominated. I mean, it's like we went out and played with our hands tied behind our backs, or we left our minds up in the team facility in Frisco and didn't even take it over to AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Was such a disappointing thing. It was just bad. It's bad all the way around. I even hate talking about it because I feel responsible. I feel like I could have helped. I don't know how, but yeah, it was bad. I'm not going to read everything he said, but he thought Jones would hire Sean Payton, suggested stealing Dan Campbell from the Detroit Lions. He said what's missing that nobody wants to fight. Check out my Instagram post. See me on my podcast. You wonder if that's a little shot at Micah Parsons doing all this stuff without doing anything. Everyone's patting him on the back without doing anything. Mentions how Emmitt didn't want to disappoint some of the previous Cowboy greats, including Tony Dorsett, one of the running backs he supplanted in Dallas, of course, in the Hall of Fame. But I remember it was either the day of the Cowboys losing to the Packers in the playoffs or the day after. I did a video, and basically I said, I can't see how Mike McCarthy can survive remaining the Cowboys head coach after that awful performance against the Packers. But as we know, Mike McCarthy is still the head coach. Maybe I shouldn't have been that surprised. We know back in the Jason Garrett era, it was year after year. Fans were clamoring for him to get canned. It didn't happen. I believe he was the coach for 10 seasons, well, 9.5, with Dallas before he was finally let go. But what are your thoughts? Do you agree with some of Emmitt Smith's assertions about the Dallas Cowboys, a team that he definitely still loves as he spent nearly a decade and a half with the team as a superstar player. Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.